104 years ago today, Fenway Park hosted its very first game. The Red Sox got the win. Tonight on the anniversary, they'll look to snap a 3-game losing skid and get back in the win column here on Yawkey Way. And welcome back to this jewel of a ballpark. Delighted you're with us. I'm Dave O'Brien. My partner, Red Sox Hall of Famer Jerry Remy. And Remdog, Red Sox pitching took a hit yesterday with the loss of Joe Kelly, now on the DL with a shoulder problem for 15 days. That really taxed the bullpen because he only went 2/3 of an inning. That means Porcello really has to go deep tonight.
He really does, Dave. You know, teams go through all kind of streaks through the course of a season. Good streaks, bad streaks, where offense is good, offense is bad, defense is good, defense is bad. And, you know, they're in a streak right now where they really need a long start from their starting pitcher. And Porcello tonight knows that. You know, at least pitched a couple of games so far this season against Toronto. Both starts have come against Toronto and has pitched very well against a very good hitting lineup. And he knows, as a veteran guy, a guy that's been around, that his bullpen desperately needs a rest, and he needs to go deep in this ball game tonight. Red Sox have called up a couple of young pitchers from the minor leagues just in case they need him. But they, you know, Porcello knows the situation. He knows he has to go deep in this ball game. Hopefully he can do so.
Well, it's April 20th, and that means some great memories for Red Sox fans. It was on this date in 1939 the legendary Ted Williams made his first trip into the batter's box, the greatest hitter of all time. By BuyAToyota.com, Toyota's website for deals. By Dunkin' Donuts, America runs on Dunkin'. By Subaru Retailers of New England, supplying award-winning all-wheel drive vehicles throughout New England. By Southern New Hampshire University, see yourself succeed at snhu.edu. By LL Bean. By the 2017 Kia Sportage, visit anykiadealers.com to learn more. And by Southwest Airlines, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. It's going to be a cool night, but a pretty night for baseball here at Fenway Park as we welcome you back to Yawkey Way. Dave O'Brien about to be joined by Gary Striewski. A slew of moves by the Red Sox necessitated by the injury to Joe Kelly. And look at these guys. The roster moves today. Noe Ramirez, who is on his way back to Pawtucket, quickly recalled. William Cuevas is a rookie. He is also a right-hander. Marco Hernandez back to the Paw Sox, and Edwin Escobar designated for assignment. So Dave Dombrowski very, very busy today as we bring in Gary. All necessitated the striker because of that injury to one guy.
Pretty much, OB, you know, the word of the day is extended. And yesterday we were hoping to talk about Joe Kelly extending that consecutive decisions win streak to 10. Instead, today we got the news that Joe Kelly will now have an extended stay on the disabled list because of that right shoulder impingement. Here's John Farrell.
Without knowing how long this recovery will take, you know, he's got a work routine and a maintenance program that's specified for him through our maintenance program. You know, he got through spring training without issue. So when this pops up, there's not a, I mean, we have strength testing as a potential predictor, but at some point, you can't fully predict it's going to be today. So I can't sit here today and say it's going to be a change of role for Joe. We've got to get him healthy first and foremost and proceed from there.
You know, Joe Kelly, unfortunately, extending that streak of his own to now 3 straight Aprils that he's ended up on some sort of disabled list now with the Red Sox. Now, Rick Porcello taking the mound tonight, hoping to extend his personal win streak to 3 straight games as he is opposite Chris Archer, 0-3 on the season. First pitch coming up.
Sox Baseball on NESN is brought to you by your New England Audi dealers. By T-Mobile. Get major league coverage. T-Mobile has doubled its 4G LTE in the past year. And by buyatoyota.com, Toyota's website for deals. Red Sox trying to snap a 3-game losing skid here tonight, trying to do it against the Tampa Bay Rays after a long night and won by the Rays in 10 innings, 3-0. The Rays lineup is brought to you by your New England Chevy dealers. It'll be Logan Forsythe to lead it off. Logan Morrison's at first. Evan Longoria at third base. Corey Dickerson their DH. Desmond Jennings in left. Brad Miller is at short. Steven Souza in right field. Kevin Kiermaier with the home run last night in the 10th. He's in center. And Hank Conger is the catcher in batting ninth. Red Sox starting pitcher presented by your New England Audi dealers. It's Rick Porcello. He's 2-0. He beat Toronto for the second time this season in his last outing by a final score of 5-3.
The Red Sox defense is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, and they are currently first in the American League with 5 errors in 13 games. Travis Shaw will be at third base, Xander Bogaerts the shortstop, Dustin Pedroia at second, Hanley Ramirez the first baseman. Left to right, Brock Holback in the lineup, Jackie Bradley Jr. and Mookie Betts, and Christian Vasquez doing the catching for the Red Sox.
So Forsythe will lead things off. Last night, he was a pesky guy. He went 2 for 3 with a couple of walks, a stolen base, and a run. And Porcello to get it started. And that's low for ball 1, says Toby Basner. Last night, Tampa Bay became just the second team ever to hold the Red Sox to 1 hit or less in an extra inning home game. Tonight's umpires are brought to you by ToyotaCertified.com. Search for your factory-backed Toyota certified used vehicle right now. Basner behind the plate. James Hoy at first. Chad Fairchild at second. Jim Joyce at third base. And he is the crew chief. The 1-1 will dip downstairs.
That's a good spot, though, for Porcello. That's exactly where he wants to be with his two-seam fastball down and actually a little bit out of the zone, trying to induce those ground balls.
Rick 5-4 lifetime against Tampa Bay, an ERA of 3.01. That's in 11 starts. The Rays right now the exact same record the Sox have at 6-7. 3-1 coming. A strike.
Well, Forsythe doing his job as a leadoff man, seeing 5 pitches already in this at bat.
Kevin Cash, the manager, former Red Sox receiver. The 3-2 on the way. Foul tipped in the mid for strike 3. Gets him. Hey, where available, this telecast can be heard in Spanish by selecting the SAP button on your TV remote. SAP presented by Toyota Certified.com. Search for your factory back Toyota certified used vehicle right now.
Buenas noches, amigos.
And tonight's weather brought to you by Benjamin Moore, the official paint of the Boston Red Sox. Temperature already into the 40s, but it is clear, so it is going to be nippy. And here's Logan Morrison. He's digging himself a hole early on. Jerry, you could do that, and it could take you a long time to get out of it. He's 2 for 37.
Yeah, 0 for his last 14 also, and you see the numbers, 0.54 for a batting average, and that is very frustrating to start a season. You're looking for that one magic night.
The 0-1 he lays off, and that's outside. Longoria, the on-deck hitter. And this one wraps up. This series wraps up tomorrow afternoon at 1:35. The temperature is supposed to be around 70. And a beautiful day tomorrow. The 1-1. That's a strike over the inside corner.
Porcello going to the inside corner and picking up the inside corner. Vasquez with a nice target, moved inside, and exactly where Porcello got it.
Red Sox pitching staff leading all major league staffs in strikeouts per 9 innings. And there's another one. He's 2 for 2 tonight to add to that. Getting about 10 Ks per game as a staff. These cold hard facts brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. And looking at Porcello's pitch selection in his 2 starts this season.
Yeah, last time out, more sink, as you can see. 50% of his fastballs were sinking fastballs. First start, 25%. And he's been piling up the strikeouts. 7 strikeouts in his first game against Toronto, 8 in his second game, and 2 to start this game off.
Longoria 269 with 2 home runs. Tried to hold up, and he did not, says James Hoya. Swing and a miss.
Take a look from the side. Did Longoria go? Yes, he did. Could not control the barrel of the bat.
Bases clean, 2 down, and moves him back a bit. Longoria has hit safely in his last 15 games at Fenway.
And we talked last night, Dave, about the catches on the Red Sox, both Hannigan and Vasquez. Watch Vasquez, how he glides behind the plate tonight from corner to corner.
Something off speed there.
Yeah, changeup. And changeup inside. That's exactly where Vasquez wants it. He jumps over to that inside part of the plate. They get the 82-mile-an-hour changeup, and off balance was Longoria.
Porcello 1 strike away from striking out the side. Fly ball instead to right. Betts racing back. He's there, and he makes the catch on the move. 1, 2, 3 they go, and the Sox are coming up. The Sox are coming up for the first time tonight. We'll see if it's breakout night against Chris Archer, the Rays starting pitcher, presented by Buick. He is 0-3, Jerry, with a 5.87 ERA.
That's very surprising for Archer. And you see the numbers, a lot of strikeouts, 23 strikeouts in 15 and a third, but a .328 batting average against, and he's given up 5 home runs in his 3 starts.
He has been plagued by poor run support like most of their pitchers. But he also hasn't gone deeper than 5 1/3 in any start. And Mookie Betts needs a hot start against him here tonight. Mookie 0 for 14. And just 9 for 35 on the homestand. Ball 2.
One thing to watch for from Archer tonight, he's got a very good slider, and that really has been a bit of a problem for him in his first 3 starts, where he has not had that typical real good slider that he normally does.
6'3", about 190, a 27-year-old from North Carolina. And he starts out by going 3-0 on Mookie Betts. Mookie has not walked in his last 8 games. As you look at the breakdown.
Yeah, you see the fastball. So look, that breaking ball is the slider. That's 40% of the time, and a few changeups.
And the 3-0 pitch. He hits the inside edge. Mookie has walked only 1 time all season. That's in 13 games. Look at who he's done against Tampa Bay at .330, so he's locked in against them. Off the outside, and he takes ball 4. So a good start. The Sox lineup is brought to you by buyatoyota.com. Toyota's website for deals. Next up, Dustin Pedroia. Then it'll be Xander Bogaerts, David Ortiz, and Hanley Ramirez. Travis Shaw at third. Brock Holt is back in there tonight. He's in left field with Christian Vasquez back behind the plate, and Jackie Bradley, who turned 26 yesterday, in center field. The Red Sox have to look to run with this man behind the plate, Hank Conger. He has allowed 44 consecutive stolen bases against him. And that's in there for a strike.
Well, the other thing about it, too, is the fact that, you know, Betts has not been on base a lot. And a guy that steals bases, once he gets on there, he wants to go badly. You'll see Betts probably take a peek in, see if he can see what the sign is going to be. If he reads breaking ball, that means he'll probably take off.
Sox are 9 for 10 in stolen bases. In Conger's last start behind the plate, he gave up 5 stolen bases, and 3 of them in the first inning. So if you're Mookie, you got to be taking off here. He's holding immediately, and it swung on and fouled back, and now Pedroia's in a hole, 0-2.
That was a changeup that time, and a high changeup from Archer. Yeah, Betts, everything's in Betts' advantage here because Archer is fairly slow to home plate, in my opinion. And you mentioned that you highlighted the troubles of Conger, and a perfect opportunity to get somebody in scoring position very early.
Here's the 0-2 pitch, not to be made, and back in Mookie Betts. This is an offense that is too good to be this dormant. And we saw it early in the season when the Red Sox were swinging the bats, you know, that first week, and at times tearing the cover off the ball. And these last 3 games, all losses, they've scored 6 total runs.
Yeah, when you're in a funk like this, you know what you like to do is get an early start in the game. Get up early in the ball game. First couple of innings.
Not running, and a pitch outside. Conger comes up as if to gun, but Mookie has to dive back in.
0-2 is not a real good pitch to go on, because a lot of times, you know, you could call a pitch out in that particular situation. The pitch is a lot of time not going to be a strike, so runners don't like to go no balls and 2 strikes. 1 and 2, a little bit different.
It was nice to see somebody on base, right? Red Sox from the 4th through the 10th last night went 1-2-3, 1-2-3. It was like a dance class at Arthur Murray. Here's the 1-2 to Pedroia, and high and tight. What do you think about 2-2?
Oh, definitely a go count, because this is the pitch right here that Archer is trying to put away the hitter. He doesn't want to go 3-2 on Pedroia. He wants to put him away right here. I wouldn't be surprised. I would be guessing as a base stealer that he's probably going to throw the slider. And I would be wrong. Yes, it is going to be the slider.
Runner holding, and there's a swing and a line shot into center field for a base hit. Mookie was not running. He'll stop at second base.
The Rays defense is brought to you by DraftKings. They're third in the American League, 6 errors in 13 games. Evan Longoria will be at third base. Brad Miller, the shortstop. Logan Forsythe at second, and Logan Morrison at first. Left to right, Desmond Jennings, Kevin Kiermaier, Steven Souza Jr., and Hank Conger doing the catching for Archer.
And Xander Bogaerts now hitting just .204. He's also been slumping. He's in an 0 for 14. I was talking to Xander around the batting cage tonight, and he said, you know, with me and Archer, I either get a hit or I hit the ball really hard, or he strikes me out. So it's the only guy I feel that way with.
Yeah, he's got a .308 batting average against Archer, but also a lot of strikeouts.
2 on, nobody out. And a chance for the Red Sox to pounce right away. David Ortiz is on deck.
You know, you can tell just by watching the base runners that the Betts is running on his own, because Dustin Pedroia was taking that lead at first base and had his eyes peeled on Mookie Betts. If Betts takes off, so does Pedroia. And he also has to be aware, this Pedroia, of the first baseman Morrison behind him. But when that pitch is being made, he's watching Mookie. If he goes, Pedroia goes.
Speed on the bases. No score here in the first inning. That could change very quickly here with Xander Bogaerts. And the 0-1. Bloop foul out of play.
That time they did a good thing out there. They made Mookie stop. You know, they did. When you're at second base, you like to get a kind of a walking lead toward third. That time they absolutely made him stop, and he was not that far off the bag, so could not go.
Red Sox were 32 games over 500 last year when they scored the first run. And the 0-2 from Archer after a long stretch. Ground ball, base hit into left. Mookie churning. Here he comes. He is going to score. Jennings will not unleash a throw, and the Red Sox are in front 1-0.
Exactly what you were talking about, Dave. Bogaerts, you know, if he makes contact off Archer, he's got a good chance of getting a base hit. 0-2 fastball inside part of the plate. Now, a lot of times with 2 strikes, Bogaerts will go to the opposite field, but this time he's hooking the ball. And of course, with the speed of Mookie Betts, he scores with no problem. Not even a throw from Jennings.
RBI number 8 for Xander. Mookie coming on in to score. That leadoff walk pays immediate dividends. And now Big Papi will dig in. 275, 3 homers, 10 runs batted in. He, of course, has a rather interesting history with Chris Archer, who at times has taken umbrage when David has taken him out of the ballpark.
Which has been twice in his career.
First one inside. Time now to see who's been driving the ball, presented by Toyo Tires. David Ortiz in his career against Archer, 346, a 615 slugging average. Toyo Tires, the official tire of the Boston Red Sox. Nobody out, 2 on, and a run in. Floated foul, back out of play.
And one of the things Archer was upset about is David Ortiz's bat flip after a home run. And of course, he had that history with David Price, and it kind of trickled down through the Tampa Bay Rays. It became Archer's issue, and you know, that battle just continues to go on.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. 2 balls and 1 strike. Hanley Ramirez on deck. I know fans have felt this way. I know you and I have felt this way. But believe me, the Red Sox in their clubhouse feel the same way. They're waiting for a big explosion, a big early inning.
Yeah, they know they have a good offense. It just has to start to click, and click early in games.
Shot into left center field. On his way in, Pedroia. That one goes all the way to the fence. Bogaerts right behind him. Here he comes. The throw to the cutoff man. No throw home. Big Papi strikes for a 2-run double. And that's more like it. The Sox in front 3-0. That was a bullet.
That was, and it was on a breaking ball. It was that slider we talked about, which can be devastating, but this slider hangs right out over the plate. And that's a nice job by Ortiz. He doesn't try to pull it out of the ballpark. He takes it in that gap in left center field. That ball got past the outfielders in a hurry, off the wall, and by that time 2 runs come in to score. So that's exactly what David Ortiz has done in his career against Archer.
Now 29th all-time in RBIs. He's passed a number of Hall of Famers. 12 on the season now for David. Hanley trying to keep the line moving. This is not the first time the Red Sox have done this to Chris Archer. He's lost 6 straight times to the Sox. That's in there for a called strike. I talked to him during the postseason last year. He was acting as an analyst for ESPN. He was actually quite good as a commentator. He's a very bright young man. And I asked him about why do the Red Sox tend to handle you better than most teams. And he kind of went to, they're very, very patient. They really work me. They make me throw pitches. And David Ortiz right at the top of the list. He's thrown 18 pitches. He hasn't got anybody out. Hanley hitting .283. He's homered 1 time. Vicious cut there in the count 0-2.
Had a good fastball to work on too. Fastball right down the middle of the plate, and Ramirez fouls it back. Well, you know, with Archer, it's like any pitcher. Obviously, he loves to work from ahead in the count, as all pitchers do, because he's got that devastating slider. And once he's ahead in the count, he doesn't have to throw for strikes, and he gets guys to chase it.
He was an all-star last year for the first time in his career. But a rough start this season. He buries that one. Conger with the stop.
That's a good example right there. No balls and 2 strikes. He goes to the breaking ball. Not close, but not even tempting enough for Ramirez to take a swing at. But that's what he wants to do.
Hanley has not seen much of him. Just 3 at-bats against Archer, but he has 2 hits. Travis Shaw on deck. And 3 runs in. The Red Sox had scored only 8 times in the first inning prior to tonight. Bounced, and that one eats up Conger, and Big Poppy will trot down to third base on a wild pitch.
Well, you know, we came into the game and we kind of highlighted the fact that he's been having trouble with his slider, and we've seen evidence of that here in the first inning. The one he threw to Ortiz right down the middle of the plate. He gets ahead of Hanley. 0-2, throws him back-to-back sliders, and the second one ends up back at the backstop. So early in the ball game, even though it's the first inning, Tampa Bay's pulled that infield in with Ramirez at the plate. Not all the way in because of the speed of Ortiz, but in far enough where that should hold David at third base.
A fly ball of pretty good depth should do it, and swung on and missed, and down he goes. That one ran up out of the strike zone at 96, so he chased it a bit.
Well, that's what happens. You know, you throw 2 breaking balls away, so in your thought process, you're thinking about a pitch away. Instead, he comes up and in on Hanley, and I think that pitch surprised Ramirez.
So now the shortstop Miller will back up, and Travis Shaw will get in. Travis .317 with a homer and 7 runs batted in. He's 1 for 2 against Chris Archer. Red Sox had 3-0 here in the first inning, and David Ortiz 90 feet away, and that's a ball.
If we can get a shot of the middle infielders, especially the second baseman Logan Forsythe, you can see that they're at double play depth. The second baseman, shortstop, and that's a position right there which is always uncomfortable because, you know, you're not sure whether you're going to be able to throw the guy out at home or not. But I think it's a spot also where they'll hold David. I don't think they'll let him run on contact.
1 away and a 1-0. Bounced again. Boy, Conger's been very busy back there early.
Yeah, back-to-back breaking balls, or changeups, I should say, and that one bouncing in the dirt. Conger doing a good job.
Sox trying to make it 4-0 after going all night, and I mean all night last night, without touching home plate and rarely touching first base.
Well, that was very unusual right there. 2 balls, no strikes, and Shaw, who in that situation is probably sitting on a fastball, got a slider and was late on it. got tricked on a 2-0 count.
Good to see Brock Holt back in there tonight. He's on deck. Another one downstairs. So now it's 3-1 on Travis Shaw. And that one bit Conger. So he may need a moment.
Once again, it's that slider down, and it looks like it hits the plate, comes up, and, well, we can all see where it hit.
Now, not the first time for a big league receiver who's been around a long time. Fans, be sure to stop by Plainridge Park Casino. Plainridge Park Casino is the official sponsor of Winning. Three balls, one strike on Travis Shaw, looking to pick up his 8th RBI. This is the 27th pitch in the first inning for Archer. Rattled foul.
That's 2 times now that Shaw has been in hitters counts. 2-0, 3-1, and both times he has gotten a slider in that situation from Archer.
Last year he threw the slider 39% of the time. A very, very high rate. In fact, it was the highest slider rate by an American League starter since they began keeping that statistic 14 years ago.
And just did it again.
A walk, 2 singles, and a double. And the Sox in business. Cut on and missed. Down he goes for strike 3, so he has battled back.
If you notice something, Dave, the last couple of nights, Tampa Bay, what they've been trying to do to Travis Shaw is elevate. And that time they elevate the fastball above the belt. Travis, a very good low ball hitter. He's got a slight uppercut swing, and sometimes that uppercut swing becomes vulnerable to a high pitch. And that fastball was above the belt. The no contact with the man at third base. Now the infield moves back with 2 outs.
Brock Holt has been out of the lineup the last few games. Hitting .267, 2 home runs, and 8 runs batted in. He was chomping at the bit during batting practice to get back in there. He gives this team so much energy, and he'll take one inside for ball 1. You know, he hasn't had a great homestand. He's 1 for 13, Brock Holt, but he's also walked 5 times and been hit by a pitch. So he's finding ways to get on. Red Sox up 3-0 first inning. Can add another right here. That'll be a strike.
Yeah, I'm looking at Kiermaier in center field, and is he shallow or is he shallow?
He's shallow.
He has such great speed and such a great center fielder that he must have tremendous confidence going back on a ball, because look where he's playing.
1-1 to the dirt. A lot of great center fielders do not mind playing shallow.
And I can tell you this, from a hitter's point of view, it is frustrating to look out there and see a shallow outfield, because you look and you say, I've got to hit the ball over the head, or I've got no room to get a hit. It can play with your mind a little bit.
It's real confidence to be able to do that. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Ground ball toward the hole. A dive by Forsythe. He gets up and gets him. And that steals a hit and an RBI. But the Red Sox get 3 runs and lead it 3-0 after 1. Baseball on NESN is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Now Forsythe with a nifty play there at the end of the inning.
Yeah, it really did, and you can see him going to his left. That's exactly how they like it, going toward first base. You go into that dive, and when you get up, you don't have very far to throw. So he saved a run for his ball club with that tremendous effort in the outfield past second base.
It was Pedroia-esque. Corey Dickerson, their DH, will lead things off in the second. 3-0 Red Sox. We'd like to salute one of our own, one of NESN's great photojournalists, Patrick Gamir, who a couple of days ago competed in and finished his second Boston Marathon. Pat, great job. Thanks for making us look good.
Way to go, Pat. Trained a long time for that event. He'd be running that heat down in Florida during spring training.
We'd be sitting there on the porch of the hotel waving at him when he went by. Way to go, Pat. You've got 5 more laps. Great job. On the count 3-0 here on Dickerson, and just critical for Porcello to have a shutdown inning.
And starts out falling behind, trying to keep the ball away from Dickerson. The Red Sox in that shift on the right side.
And a 3-0 from Porcello, and a strike.
And again, even on a 3-0 count, keeping that ball away from Dickerson. Just barely picking up the outside corner, but you see Vasquez jump out there. That's where he wanted it.
Dickerson is a home run threat. He's hit 3. Foul tip. Sox fans looking for the best seats to the biggest games, check out the official Red Sox ticket resale marketplace at RedSoxReplay.com. It's the best place for season ticket holders to sell their tickets when they can't make it to the game. The 3-2 to the DH.
All right, look at 6 pitches in this at bat, and all 6 pitches away. If I'm hit a hitter right here now, I mean, I'm leaning out over the plate because I think that everything's going to be out there. I wonder if an inside fastball would freeze him right now.
Something Porcello did really effectively in his last start against Toronto. Not afraid to move the feet. Here's the 3-2. High pop up. Left center field. Jackie Bradley and Brock Holt are there. Brock says he has it.
Now there's a good example right there. You know, we talked about it, the fact that everything had been away from Dickerson to the outside part of the plate. So as a hitter, you start to think, you lean over, it's going to be away again. Everything's away. Then he throws the ball almost directly down the middle, but because you're thinking away, you end up popping the ball up. That's exactly why Dickerson's upset right there. He got one down the middle, but I think he was thinking about all those pitches that were away from him.
So Porcello has retired the first 4 men in there for a strike against Desmond Jennings, his speedy left fielder, hitting .268 with 1 homer. April 20, a big date is mentioned. First game ever at Fenway Park. First official game was 104 years ago today. Ted Williams had his first major league at bat in 1939 on April 20th. And in 2013, David Ortiz delivered his unforgettable speech at Fenway following the marathon bombing. We will not be replaying that in its entirety. But you remember it.
Nor the Jordan 63 points against the Celtics.
No. Tried to hold up, but he swung and missed. Larry Bird had a great comment. I'm trying to remember what it was about Michael Jordan there. He said that wasn't Michael Jordan, that was God. The 2-2. Now a full count. Red Sox in the lead 3-0 here in the second inning. Nice to see a crooked number up there real early. He came back and struck him out. That's 3 already for Porcello.
Yeah, Porcello with two different types of fastballs, the sinking fastball and of course the cross-seam fastball, and that's what he throws right here. It's more of a straight pitch. He elevates it a little bit and gets the swing and miss from Jennings. As a hitter against Porcello, you think make him get the ball up because he's a sinker ball pitcher. Then when he does sometimes come cross-seam, he tries to go up and sometimes out of the strike zone.
So Brad Miller to get in, 2 down, bases empty. He's a 128 hitter, but he is 2 for 2 against Porcello, and both hits are homers. That's a strike. David Ortiz has provided endless chills with the bat in his hands. That moment on that day here at Fenway Park 3 years ago was with a microphone in his hand. And touched everyone. Boston strong, and we've been reminded gratefully so many times, beginning with Monday and since then, of how strong this community was. Check swing, and that's a strike.
Yeah, questioned by Miller, but a very good changeup that time from Porcello, and a great setup to the outside part of the plate by Vasquez. I just love to watch him glide behind the plate. Fastball away.
2-2. Now, you pointed out something great last night, that when the catcher does not want anyone to see the signs, that's when he closes his legs.
Exactly.
He tightens it up. That's right through there. He got him looking. Strike 3. 4 Ks for Porcello. He's only faced 6 men. Red Sox moment honoring the '86 Red Sox season, their 14th game of 1986. The Red Sox beat the Tigers 6-4. Roger Clemens struck out 10. He improved to 3-0. Don Baylor went 2 for 3. He knocked in a pair of runs for the Red Sox. We are on to the bottom of the 2nd inning, and Christian Vasquez leads it off against Chris Archer. The Sox touching up the right-hander for 3 runs in the 1st inning. David Ortiz with a 2-run double. Vasquez 3 for 10 since his return to the majors on Friday after coming back from Tommy John surgery, and he takes a strike. He went 2 for 4, scored 2 runs, and picked off Tulowitzki his first game back. Likes the Rays too, 370. Line shot toward right, but he sliced it foul. But he hit it well too.
That's the direction they're playing Vasquez into. Hit the ball to the opposite field. Kiermaier, especially now with 2 strikes, really pulled over in center field. And Souza Jr. in right field also pulled over a little bit toward the line. You can see they expect him to try to hit the ball the other way. Big gap in left center.
Tried to hold up in the 1-2, but he swung and missed strike 3, says James Hoy. 3rd K for Archer.
That's exactly what Archer can do. We'll take another look at it. That was a swing by Vasquez. He shakes his head no, but Jim Hoy, the first base umpire, disagrees with him. That was the slider. He throws it off the plate when he was ahead in the count, picks up the strikeout.
Well, he is a strikeout pitcher. He struck out 252 batters last year. And here's Jackie Bradley, and most of those were on sliders. 179 on the slider. Jackie at 250, no homers, 4 RBIs, got the only Red Sox hit yesterday. He stings this one to center field. Kiermaier on his horse, turning now. It's off the wall. It bounces back to him, and Jackie has a double and narrowly missed a homer.
And Jackie's had his problems with Archer. Only 1 for 12 coming into the game, but he gets a fastball and a little bit of an inside-out swing right here. It was supposed to be away, but it stays in, and straight away center field goes Bradley Jr. Kiermaier going back as far as he could, had to put the brakes on very quickly. And Jackie into second base with the 1-out double, so another man in scoring position for the Red Sox.
Look at this one off the top of that wall.
Didn't miss by very much. Little stumble by Kiermaier, but it was going to be a double anyway for Bradley.
A 1-out 2-base hit sends up Mookie Betts, who walked and scored the first Red Sox run in the first inning. The Sox are getting some big time swings off of this guy, and they always seem to, Jerry. It's the oddest thing because he is a high caliber starter. He's one of the best in the American League.
Oh, absolutely. When you look up at the end of the year, you're going to see Archer, if he stays healthy, he's going to have big time numbers. But right now he's in a little bit of a lull, and it's a good time for the Red Sox to get him.
1-0 pitch, foul tipped right there at the feet of Conger. Go back to last year, Archer has actually lost 6 in a row. In October, he visited Asia on a Major League Baseball tour. In December, he traveled to Curacao with several other major leaguers to help with clinics and spread love of the game. But he did a lot of traveling right after the season ended. You wonder if that has any effect on this string of losses for him. Obviously, he's in great shape.
As you mentioned, Dave, really a very, very intelligent guy, very well spoken, and you mentioned his TV work that he's done. Very bright guy.
The 1-1 blocked by Conger. And Jackie staying put at second base. Red Sox ahead 3-0.
Back-to-back sliders to Mookie, and good block by Conger with the man in scoring position at second base. Pedroia on deck.
Red Sox had 1 hit all last night. They already have 4. And we're in the second inning. High deep drive. He sucked it to left, rising up for the stands and gone. He smoked it, and the Sox lead it 5-0. Mookie with his 3rd home run of 2016.
Dave, you know, we talked about them pitching well to Mookie Betts recently, and that means to me a lot of pitches away from him. This pitch is not going to be away. It's going to be the middle of the plate in, and that is a spot where Betts loves it. He had thrown him back-to-back sliders, and it looked like Betts just sitting on a fastball in that situation and drives it out of the ballpark.
Dustin Pedroia 1 for 1 with a base hit and a run scored. Nice to see Mookie smiling again after that slump, which had gone 0 for 14. That looks like it is over emphatically.
It's twice tonight he's been on base. A walk the first time, and then, of course, the home run.
Speedway proud to be New England's first choice for value and convenience. For every Sox homer this season, Speedway donates $500 to Boston Children's Hospital. Stop by a Speedway store near you and pick up your Speedy Rewards card to start earning points today. Shot to right field. Souza backs up with room, though, to make the catch. So Petey now 1 for 2 and 2 down in the Red Sox second.
And that's another ball that was hit very well right there. Pedroia hitting it very strongly to the opposite field, but Souza in perfect position in right field.
Red Sox with 3 in the first inning, 2 more here in the second inning. Maybe it's Rick Porcello's turn this year to be the guy the Red Sox score for, but they're doing it for him. He'll take him. Xander Bogaerts 1 for 1 with an RBI single. Takes a pitch in the dirt. There's always one guy on every staff every year
that seems to get the runs, and there's another guy on the staff that doesn't get anything.
Gets nothing. Now for Tampa Bay, that's been Chris Archer on their staff. They've not scored at all for him. One and 0 to Xander Bogaerts. Ground ball, sounded like he broke his bat. Longoria will dig that out, and the Red Sox will get the 2. Mookie Betts with a bullet out of here. 5-0 Sox. Baseball live with the MLB.com at Bat app. Stay up to the moment with game day, live game day video, highlights, StatCast, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat. It's the #1 app for live baseball on your smartphone and tablet today. Mookie Betts in launch mode has just made it 5-0 with a 2-run blast out of here. And Rick Porcello has set down the first 6 men he's faced tonight. Xander will be tested, airborne, off balance, going to be close, but dropped by the first baseman, Hanley Ramirez, anyway. I think he had it beaten Souza at first base.
He did, and you know that's a tough play for Bogaerts because you don't know what hop to play. Watch Xander on this. He thinks he's going to get that first hop, but then he's going to back up. Once that happens, it just becomes desperation throw to first base. Surprised he got it all the way in the air, and Hanley trying to stretch has it come off the top of his glove, but Souza Jr. was going to be safe anyway.
So he is on with a single. First base runner for Tampa Bay. And now Kiermaier, who belted the home run that proved to be the game winner last night to lead off the 10th inning. They added 2 more, but all they needed was the 1 and a 3-0 victory. Red Sox have bounced right back tonight, though. He's hitting 182, and he lays off ball 1.
Last night he got a breaking ball from Barnes and just kind of hooked it right out of Fenway Park down that right field line. And that changed the complexion of the ball game.
He's just 4 for 17 against Porcello. Popped up, twisting foul, third base side. Vasquez and Shaw to give it a look, but off into the crowd. You know, before the game, we will often catch the Rem Dog singing the Paul McCartney or Beatles songbook, as you were doing tonight. And by the way, you're pretty darn good. But we looked up at the board tonight, and the Red Sox are promoting July 17. Guess who's playing?
Paul McCartney.
Paul McCartney.
And we got a chance to see that. It's the day before the All-Star game, the All-Star break.
Yep.
And it's should be an afternoon game in New York. So I would think that we could probably get back in time for the concert, which is going to be fantastic. And you promised me before the game that you would introduce me to McCartney.
I would, and of course I have no connections to Paul McCartney whatsoever. I mean, he walked right by you one day, though. You've got a great story.
At the old Yankee Stadium. It was unbelievable. I missed my opportunity. I really did.
Because Billy Crystal said, come on over and say hi, and Paul McCartney went right by. A little trickler on the infield. Shaw gathers. Nice play. Close. Safe at first base. Down to second is Souza. We'll see if the Red Sox elect to challenge a bang-bang play at first base.
Yeah, very close. John Farrell with a step out of the dugout. They're going to wait to see what they see on video. Let's take a look ourselves.
He looks out to me.
He does to me, too. And this may be challenged by John Farrell.
And
they're
going
to take a look at it.
Yeah, he's out.
He is out.
That's a terrific play once again by Shaw. His range, you know, slashing towards second base has been impressive.
It has been. I'll take a look at him on just a little tap down that third base line. Now you see how far he is off the bag because of the left-handed hitter, and Kiermaier has all kind of speed. I mean, he can fly down the line, and you know, as an infielder, you have no time to waste. Yeah, that should be an out.
Looks like it to me. So we're anticipating they will reverse this call. That means John gets to retain his challenge moving forward, as we think he's going to win this one. Originally ruled safe on the field. This should not take very long. This should be one of those quick ones from New York.
Yeah, we had a quick one here last night. This one taking a little bit longer right now, but I think the result's going to be good for the Red Sox.
Right now the Sox in front 5-0 on the play. Souza moving down to second base, but this play is under review. Now we can say all we want. It looks obvious. We do it all the time, and then they come back with a completely different ruling, and you're scratching your head. And what the umpires say is we're not trying to come up with a new call. We're looking for video evidence that would change the original call, and has to be supported. But here they come. This wasn't too long, if in fact they are done, and they are. And here's the call. It's out. And they got that right.
They did, and what a play by Shaw, because you know you got to take into consideration the speed of Kiermaier, who can really fly down the line. And you know, Shaw had to go to a long way to get that ball and quickly get rid of it, knowing he's got a fast runner going down there. Nice stretch by Hanley too. That's not exactly a throw that was on target, because it had to be rushed.
One man out. Here's Conger hitting 188. No homers, no runs batted in. The runner goes at third. Here's the throw down to third. The tag safe. Now, not a guy you would typically expect to be running. Here's John again on the top step.
No, that caught everybody by surprise. Red Sox in a bit of a shift right there, as you can see, and that's a very close play again at third base. But I think this one will. I think this one's not going to be reviewed, and shouldn't be.
Yep.
He's safe.
They will not challenge. So Souza with the theft. So he's not 90 feet away. Red Sox ahead 5-0 in the third inning. And a pop-up. And Shaw's the only man on the left side anyway before Bogaerts comes rumbling over, and that'll be out number 2.
Go back to the steal, David. We'll show you why Souza Jr. did take off. Now, they see the shift is on. Nobody's keeping him close, and Shaw's off the bag. So the runner at second base knows he can get a big lead. He's moving. He had a walking lead, and that's why he takes off. It's a dangerous move down by 5 runs, but yet, on the other hand, with the defense that was on, it gave him an opportunity to do that.
Forsythe, the batter, he struck out in the first inning. You know, Jake Gyllenhaal was here the other day on Marathon Monday. I bet he knows Paul McCartney. I'm going to ask him to introduce Sir Paul to you.
Going back to that story in New York, and it was kind of crazy because it was the old Yankee Stadium.
Jake out there filming a brand new film called Stronger. He's actually producing it too. Here's a snap toss, but not in time.
So we're at Yankee Stadium, the old Yankee Stadium, and the players' parking lot was outside the exit. So I was walking through the parking lot looking for my car, and I happened to see Billy Crystal. Billy watches a lot of baseball, a lot of Red Sox baseball and Yankee baseball.
Right.
So he kind of waved me over. As I'm walking over, McCartney walked by me. I didn't even know it.
I mean, he walked right by you, and you had no idea it was Paul McCartney, your favorite singer of all time.
I focused in on Billy Crystal, you know, to go over and shake his hand. Great guy. And I was later told that McCartney had walked right by me. I almost knocked him over. I felt like a complete fool after that. So maybe this July, who knows?
It would have been a better story had you knocked over Paul McCartney.
Well, it almost happened.
And you'd get all the tickets you want.
Or he wouldn't be playing anymore. I don't know.
It's a great show, though. Everybody says a phenomenal show.
I'm telling you, 2.5 to 3 hours long. Great show.
Runner at third base, 2 down, 5-0 Sox. Into the dirt, stopped by Vasquez.
A beautiful block by Vasquez there as that ball's down in the dirt, and you know he's not trying to catch this ball. Watch him go down on the knees and just try to play that ball off the chest protector, deaden it, and keep that man at third base. Beautiful play by Vasquez.
Two balls and 2 strikes. And 2 down. And Porcello trying to keep this run from scoring from third base. And now Forsythe asks for time. It would have been an even better story if you were humming like Yesterday as he walked by you.
That would have been pretty embarrassing.
Cut out and missed, and he got him. That's 5 strikeouts, and he freezes that runner at third base. Airheads Grateful Dead Night is back at Fenway on Thursday, April 28th. With the purchase of a special ticket, you can receive a custom-designed Red Sox Grateful Dead T-shirt. For tickets and more information, visit redsox.com/Grateful Dead. Last half of the third inning, Red Sox ahead 5-0. Jerry Remy alongside Dave O'Brien. Gary Streisky with us as well tonight. David Ortiz has already driven in 2 runs with a double in the first inning. He's driven in 12 for the season. David sitting on 506 career home runs. And he takes a strike. He'll be followed by Hanley Ramirez and then Travis Shaw. Red Sox swinging the bats very well tonight. 5 hits already, including a home run by Mookie Betts. Jackie Bradley also has a double. That almost got out of the ballpark. Cut on and missed. A vicious rip there by David. He's down on strikes.
Good changeup by Archer as he gets that changeup down and actually out of the strike zone for the swing and miss from Ortiz. There you see the changeup grip. It was supposed to be away, but it was down enough for no contact from Big Papi.
Hanley Ramirez now struck out in the first inning. So Hanley now 5 for 32 on this homestand. He's cooled off a little bit, hitting .278. Broken back ground ball, but again it's Forsythe to cover the ground and zips it on for the second out. DraftKings is the official one-day fantasy baseball partner of the Sox. Experience the thrill of playing on DraftKings right now. Play free daily using the promo code NESSN at DraftKings.com. 2 up, 2 down. Everybody bundled up tonight. It's 43 degrees inside the ballpark. And a really nice crowd here on a Wednesday. Travis Shaw 0 for 1 with a strikeout, and he'll take one a little high for ball 1.
And see there again, Archer trying upstairs against Travis Shaw. Slightly to pull in the outfield, but not the complete shift in the infield.
There's a shot to right field for a base hit. Yeah, 39 career games against Tampa Bay. He's hitting almost 400.
Yeah, he tried to sneak the fastball by Shaw inside. Now this time he did not elevate the fastball. He kept it down a little bit lower. And that's really a pitch right there that Shaw loves, about thigh high. He's able to get the barrel of the bat out and take it in the right field for the base hit.
Brock Holt to climb in for the second time tonight. He's 0 for 1 with a tapper to second base. That was the Red Sox 6th hit against Archer. And he'll take one up top for a ball. Brock in left tonight. He'll be followed by Vasquez if given the opportunity. There are 2 away. And Travis Shaw's a guy that has stolen a base this season. We talked about Conger not throwing anybody out going back to last year. Quite literally, that's 44 in a row who have stolen against him.
Now the only option I would go with Shaw would be the delay steal.
Count is 2-0. He's going to hold here, and that will be a strike.
And when I talk about that, it's where you take 3 crow hop steps towards second base. You usually do it with 2 outs when the infield's deep. You're trying to fool the middle infielders. You take 3 crow hop steps when the ball gets by the hitter, then you take off because that's when the infielder's eyes are down. Now, he's not going to. I'd be surprised, but that's an option.
He holds, and that's low and away. So a good count for Brock. Trying to get hot again. Boy, when the season started, you couldn't get him out. And he hit a little bit of a lull. He can get white hot. Here's the 3-1. And a high twisting fly to left. And Jennings plenty of time to get underneath this. And that retires the side. One man left. Still 5-0 Red Sox. Tuesday, if the Red Sox win, Plainridge Park Casino donates $777 to the Relay for Life of Greater Attleboro. And the Sox have a 5-0 lead as we go to the 4th inning. And Rick Porcello sharp again. He's allowed only 1 hit. And he struck out 5, including this man, Logan Morrison. Morrison has been a bit of a lightning rod in his career. He was asked by the Marlins a few years ago to tone down his tweets, which were called colorful. He filed a grievance against the team for demoting him at one point. He thought it was because he had missed a meet and greet with some fans. And the organization said no, it was performance. But he didn't quite buy it. So he's had some issues. And now winding up at Tampa Bay, 0 for 1 tonight with a strikeout. I popped to right field, an easy play from Mookie Betts. And one man is out. Let's go to Gary.
Guys, I don't think there's a catcher in this league that likes to snap throw down to first or third base with a run more than Christian Vasquez. And include me in on a little tip as to when he planned to throw down to first or third. What he'll do is call for a high fastball from the pitcher, so that way upon reception of that ball, he's already coming out of his crouch and ready to throw down to either first or third. So something to watch out for tonight if runners get on.
Well, he's very successful with that, Gary, and of course so is Mr. Molina in St. Louis, which is one of the guys he has studied throughout his career.
Yeah, when you put down a fastball up, if there's no contact, you're already in almost like a pitch out position. So that gives you the opportunity to catch and throw very, very quickly because you're already up on your feet. You don't have to come out of your crouch.
He loves that element of surprise. Longoria is 0 for 1 and a comebacker. Porcello about halfway to the bag and tosses on to Hanley for the second out. Ace Ticket is Boston's trusted source for Red Sox tickets with the best seats at the lowest prices to all the games, all with a 200% guarantee. Treat yourself or someone special by visiting aceticket.com or call 1-800-MY-SEATS. 2 away in the 4th inning. Red Sox ahead 5-0 over Tampa Bay, and Corey Dickerson will take his time getting up. He's 0 for 1 tonight with a fly to left. Former Colorado Rocky.
Remember the first time up, they fed him just about everything away, and then on the last pitch threw him a fastball that was a little bit more inside. He popped it up. Let's see how they attack him this time. again in that shift for the Red Sox. Starting with a breaking ball.
And a good one for a strike. Now, Rick Porcello is one of the guys the Red Sox were eager to see work with Christian Vázquez. And they really think that Christian will do Rick a lot of good with the great energy that he plays with and catches with back there.
Well, that's one of the few times tonight that Porcello actually missed his spot, and it was still no contact on that swing. Vázquez was set up away, but the ball leaked to the inside part of the plate. It was a mislocation, but no damage done.
Red Sox also got a terrific game, I thought, behind the plate from Ryan Hanigan last night. Another one down and in. Because remember, until those 3 runs in the 10th inning, it was nothing but donuts up there.
Yeah, he really did have a great game last night. He made a lot of great plays on pitches that were in the dirt, blocking balls.
I really think the Red Sox are going to be the envy of the league by the end of this season with catching defense. 1-2, a high fly to left, driving back Holt at the track now, turning around. He'll play it off the green, plays it well. Here's the throw to second base. The slide, did he go by the bag? No, he did not, and he's going to be safe, and Nickerson has himself a double. He held on to second with that hand.
You know, there's a case, Dave, where you execute your pitch and it still gets hit, and here in Fenway Park it goes off the left field wall. That's exactly where they wanted to go with that pitch, away, and it finds the wall. A good play off the wall by Holt makes it a close play at second. Watch the slide. Very good slide by Dickerson at second base. He sees the throw. Now you can see it as a base runner that it's going to be to the shortstop side, so you hook to the outfield side, the right field side of the bag. Pedroia trying to hold the glove there in case the hand came off. But see, that plays all in front of Dickerson. That's why he can adjust on the slide.
So it's a 2-out double to bring up Jennings, who Porcello struck out in the second inning. That's the second hit tonight for Tampa Bay. Jennings seems to get a decent look at Porcello coming into play tonight. He was 6 for 18 against him with a homer. That's a .333 average. Long look in by the right-hander, and now Jennings will get time.
Yeah, generally you'll see a hitter allow maybe 2 sets of signs, 3 sets of signs, and it's going to be a timeout. He gets sick of standing there.
The 2-0. 2-1. They have had trouble scoring runs. They did last night for the longest time against the Red Sox bullpen. In too far, now 3-1. Carl Willis delighted by the work of Heath Hembree yesterday. 3 1/3 in an emergency capacity. It's a long outing for him. And that's a strike. What a tough pitch.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a gift for Rick right there, but he'll certainly take it. That pitch appeared to be off the outside part of the plate.
That might have been a case of Vázquez buying him a strike.
Could have been.
Runner at second, 2 down. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Desmond Jennings. There's no denying the Red Sox have been getting pitching, and tonight they're getting offense too. And that'll be inside, and he walked him. He's walked his first man. Don't miss WB Mason Extra Innings Live right after the game. TC and Steve Lyons will bring you a clubhouse reaction from John Farrell. They'll break down Rick Porcello's start Whatever, whenever, wherever. Who but W.B. Mason?
That's interesting. Porcello knows that Jennings has success against him. So on the 3-2 count, even with the 5-0 lead, he goes to the changeup on the 3-2 count. Pitchers are well aware of guys that have had good success against them. There's no question about that.
Didn't mind walking him. Here's Miller. He whiffed in the second inning. 2-away. And a fly to right. Betts got turned around, leaps up, and he makes the play. He hauls it in to left. 5-0 Red Sox as we go to the bottom of the fourth.
Sox have the lead. Mookie Betts with a terrific play out in right field. He got turned the wrong way. This ball was hit very, very hard. Off-speed pitch, a changeup, and Betts had to spin around. Very athletic reactions out there. Now, one other thing I'd like to point out on that play is Dustin Pedroia. You know, infielders watch what pitch is coming, whether it's going to be a fastball, breaking ball, changeup, and they will react according to that. If you watch Pedroia, a changeup is coming, so see him take a step to his left. That's because that ball's most likely to be pulled, and that's exactly why Pedroia took one step to his left.
So Vasquez looks at a strike. He's 0 for 1.
Excuse me, Dave. Movement everywhere in the outfield, in the infield, on certain pitches.
I was going to ask you too. I mean, how much verbal communication on stuff like pop-ups, fly balls to right field is Mookie likely to hear from Dustin Pedroia?
Well, the rule of thumb is always that you go back as hard as you can if you're an infielder, and you go as hard until you hear the outfielder call you off. Once he calls you off, then you've got to get out of the way. It's his baseball. But if you don't hear anything from the right fielder, you've got to go back there and try to get it.
Right. The 1-2. Tried to hold up, did he? He did not. It's a swing and a miss. Second time tonight that Vasquez has tried to check, and he has struck out.
Vasquez having a difficult time right now. It looks like picking up the pitches from Archer. 2 strikeouts, 1 on a slider.
So it'll send up Jackie Bradley, who ripped a double high off the center field wall in the second inning, and he was brought on to score when Mookie Betts blasted a home run to the base of the very first light standard on the monster, moving left to right. So Jackie hitting .268. And if he finishes the season at .268, that means he's going to hit 600 times. And that means you like his chances to battle for the Gold Glove in center field.
Yeah, there's some good ones in the American League, but Jackie's right there with him. And one of them's in this game, Kiermaier.
Yeah, he's the reigning center field Gold Glove. The 2-0. And we just saw Pilar with Toronto. We've not seen Mike Trout yet. Those are probably going to be your candidates. He's taking all the way, and it's ball 4, so he's been on base twice. You know, NESN has a brand new site for car enthusiasts. It's NESN Fuel, your new home for everything automotive, including exclusive driver interviews, race recaps, and more. Visit NESNFuel.com and follow NESN Fuel on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram today. And now Mookie Betts, who has a perfect night going, a walk and a run and a 2-run homer, his 3rd of the season. Mookie had 68 extra base hits last year.
You know, that last home run by Mookie Betts got out of here in a hurry, and a lot of the home runs that he hits are line drive type home runs.
One man out, not running at first base, and it's high and tight.
Another look at the home run by Mookie Betts. He gets a fastball inside. The line shot into the monster seats. 3.42 seconds to get out of here. That's about how fast he runs to first base, too.
Yes. Could do an awful lot. One of the more exciting players in all of Major League Baseball. Evan Longoria thinks so.
Now,
I mentioned this last night.
I'm actually giving him a little bit more speed than he actually has down at first base, but
sounded good.
It sounded good. You know, he's probably around 3.9, 4, somewhere in there.
Up high. Who was the fastest guy you ever saw at first base?
Get down the line at first base.
Would it have been a Bo Jackson or a Deion Sanders? Or?
Yeah. I remember I played with a guy that got down there pretty quickly. Mickey Rivers. It was with the Angels and the Yankees. He got down there pretty quick. Bo Jackson could run. Yeah, good from the truck. They gave me Ichiro's name, and that's another good one.
Ichiro, you know, early in his career, of course, is a left-hand hitter. Yeah, he could really fly up that line.
He was kind of running down to first base on contact.
Right. His body was practically out of the box when he hit it. He's closing in on 3,000 hits in the major leagues in the United States. Might get it this season. He's had quite a career. Red Sox ahead 5-0 in the bottom of the 4th inning. 1 out. Mookie has a good count, 3-1. He takes a strike.
Yeah, no inside fastball that time from Archer on the 3-1 count. They keep that fastball away, and good job by staying off it for Betts. I wouldn't be at all surprised we see Jackie Bradley run on this 3-2 count with Mookie at the plate.
Dustin Pedroia on deck. There goes Jackie, and it's low, ball 4. Second walk in the inning from Archer. Pennant fever is going on right now at Jordan's Furniture. If the Sox and Yankees meet in the League Championship Series for the pennant, you could win free furniture and mattresses. It's pennant fever, and it's going on right now. Go Sox. Dana Eveland is throwing in the bullpen as Jim Hickey heads out.
Already 73 pitches for Archer tonight, and we're only in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Now, Red Sox got him early. Mookie Betts started it by taking a walk. Dustin Pedroia singled. Xander Bogaerts singled in Betts, and then David Ortiz doubled in 2 runs. 3-0 Boston. Second inning, Mookie slammed a 2-run homer into the monster seats. Chris Archer's pitching line is brought to you by your Eastern Lexus dealers. Sox have just had his number, Rem Dog, and they're doing it again tonight.
They certainly are. And it's hard to figure with a guy that's got as good as stuff as he's got, but it tells you something about the Red Sox hitters, too.
Now Pedroia 1 for 2. He's hit the ball hard 2 times. A single and a sharp line drive to right field. Last night he was 0 for 4. His 10-game hitting streak came to an end. It was the first time this season he had failed to reach. Bradley and Betts both on ball 4. How about Mookie Betts? 2 walks tonight. Grounded toward third, fair ball. He steps on the bag for 1 across the diamond and got him. A double play that retires the side. Through 4, 5-0 Boston. Fenway on September 9th. That's part of the Plainridge Park Casino Fenway Concert Series, co-headlining with Kid Rock. Tickets go on sale Friday, April 22nd at 10 a.m. at redsox.com/Jason Aldean. That's another great show. Of course, you and I are lining up Paul McCartney as we speak.
Yeah, things are just falling into place, aren't they?
And the Red Sox ahead 5-0 as we go to the 5th inning. And Steven Souza to lead it off. A crackback ground ball to short. Bogaerts hoovers that up and gets him. So 1 man is out, and that'll bring up Kiermaier. Good night for a hot dog. Well, anything hot. Temperatures in the low 40s. Kiermaier originally was ruled safe on a bang-bang play in the 3rd inning on a terrific stab and throw by Travis Shaw. He was making a habit of it. And then the play was overturned after a replay review as John Farrell won the challenge. So he retains his challenge moving forward tonight. So Kiermaier 0 for 1. That'll be a strike.
Rick Porcello doing exactly what the Red Sox had hoped, and that's get deep into the ball game. Here he is into the 5th inning tonight. Very, very manageable pitch count.
He's thrown 65, so he's in great shape. Red Sox needing to win to get back to 500, and David Price goes tomorrow against his old team. Looper foul back out of play. Try WB Mason's coffee service featuring the Keurig coffee system with Green Mountain Coffee K-Cup pods. Order by 11:30 in the morning and get free same-day delivery. Who but W.B. Mason? Kiermaier was a heck of a high school football player. In fact, he was offered a scholarship to play football at Purdue.
Yeah, you can tell he's got that football mentality playing baseball. I mean, he just, I admire the way he hustles all the time, runs everything out hard.
Has to jump the rope. That one almost got him.
Porcello overthrowing that pitch, and somehow Kiermaier able to get out of the way. Usually when it's down around the feet like that, it's very difficult to get out of the way of those pitches. But he's one of those guys, if you're an outfielder, you cannot take any chances with him because he'll stretch a single into a double.
In there for strike 3. He had darted toward first base thinking he had ball 4. Toby Basner says back to the dugout.
Now that's just flat out nasty, that pitch right there. That's a nasty fastball on the inside part of the plate, right at the knees. You'll see it on the pit zone. A comebacker by Porcello. And too close to take with 2 strikes.
That's a great pitch. I mean, that's where he has to live to be successful.
Yep.
That's a called strike on Conger, who's 0 for 1 with a pop up to third. Now, we have been seeing the Rick Porcello that we saw at the end of last season. After he came back from the DL, tried to hold up, he swung and missed. And if he wins tonight, he goes to 3-0.
And he's faced, tough lineups the first 2 times out, especially the Toronto Blue Jays. His first 2 starts this year against Toronto.
And beat him twice. A little bit of a different story here with Tampa Bay, but they're always tough to beat. They're a sticky opponent. Here's the 0-2. Down into the dirt. Baltimore leading the division with an 8-4 record. Toronto's 8-7. Tampa Bay and the Sox both at 6-7. Yankees 5-7. Everybody in action tonight. Sox leading here 5-zip. Boy, that may have been a called strike, but he decided not to call it a strike.
Yeah, sometimes those high strikes don't get called as much as the low strikes, but that's a very good pitch right there by Porcello, but not getting the call.
2-2 on Conger. Switch hitter. Swing and a miss. Down he goes. 1, 2, 3. Porcello really firing strikes. This month, Echo Store Technologies is donating $50 to the Greg Hill Foundation. Echo Store and the Greg Hill Foundation responding immediately to improve the lives of local families touched by tragedy. Echo Store Technologies, your data center solutions provider. Jerry Remy, Dave O'Brien with you, and we are at the midway point. We go to the bottom of the fifth on a chilly and clear night here at Fenway. And the Red Sox scored early. They got 5 in the first 2 innings. And on top of Archer in Tampa Bay, 5-0. Xander Bogaerts with an RBI single in the first inning. And batting for the 3rd time against the right-hander. They still have Evelyn thrown in the bullpen. A strike. Xander with good numbers lifetime against Tampa Bay. .295 coming into tonight.
That looked like the merry-go-round, didn't it?
Made me a little dizzy, actually.
Take another look at it. You see where they're playing in the outfield. They give Xander that left field trap corner there, but those circles, man, it looks like.
Yeah.
Wow.
Looks like the ride I used to go on at the Marshfield Fair after I had about 6 hot dogs. Line shot, base hit, and Xander is aboard with his 2nd hit tonight.
A 2nd time tonight he's pulled the ball for a hit. The first time it was on a fastball, the drive in and run. This time he gets a changeup. And again, you know, you knew an off-speed pitch was coming. You could see Longoria on that changeup moving toward 3rd base. And again, you know, they expect the hitter to pull the off-speed pitches. That's exactly what Bogaerts did. Watch Longoria now set up for this. He knows that there's going to be an off-speed pitch coming. He's moving to his left already. There's the step to his left. And then the ball, of course, finds that hole between 3rd and short. So, you know, it's infielders knowing what pitch is coming and how to set up.
Here's Big Papi has a double to score 2. There goes Xander. And swung on and lined, and a fair ball. Right down the line. Bogaerts can run all day. Here he comes. The throw will be cut. It's another double. And a 3rd RBI for David. 6-0 Red Sox.
Well, big night for David Ortiz. 2 doubles, 3 RBIs as he jumps on the first pitch. Ill-advised relay here by Steven Souza Jr. I think their best chance was to go to 2nd base. Bogaerts all the way around. He's not going to throw him out from there. His best chance was to try to get Ortiz at 2nd. They had no chance to get Bogaerts.
And Big Papi still with a great looking swing. 2 doubles tonight, 3 RBIs. And Bogaerts scoring all the way from first base. He was running with the pitch. Red Sox trying to get Hanley going now. He has struck out and tapped to the 2nd baseman. Strike 1. So nice to see the offense getting it cranked.
Yeah, it really lifts up the whole ball club when you can jump out in front like this.
This is just too good a hitting lineup to be down for very long. Another strike. Too many good hitters. Hanley trying to dig himself out of a mini slide as he contemplates an 0-2 pitch. Five hits and 33 at bats on this homestand. Sox are 3-5 on the homestand, so they need to win tonight and behind David Price tomorrow to finish 5-5 heading onto the road. And the 0-2 pitch fouled on a big swing.
Bogaerts in the dugout getting some attention from the trainers as it looked like he had a little stumble coming around 2nd base. You see him tag the base there. And right there you can see a little grimace as he's heading around 3rd base. Now that's, I don't know if that's because he's hurting a little bit. Looks like the quad that he's playing with. or if he was just a little tired coming around from first base.
Swing and a miss, and Hanley retired. He strikes out for the second time. Yeah, he was definitely kind of tugging at that quad. So we'll see if he continues. And here comes the manager, Cash. And Archer again has a very short night. Now, he has not pitched beyond 5 1/3 innings in any start this season. And out he comes here in the 5th. Red Sox head 6-0. More in a moment. Take our word for it. This is one of the better pitchers in the American League, but the Red Sox could be on their way to beating him for the 7th consecutive time. Chris Archer, as you look at his numbers, 4 1/3, 8 hits, 6 runs, and he is responsible for David Ortiz at second base. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Kia. Danny Evelyn, 32 years old, coming out of their bullpen. So he's the oldest pitcher on their active roster. Just pitched on 8 days rest. And gave up his first run as a Tampa Bay Ray. So it's Ortiz at second base. A run in. David drove that one in. And Travis Shaw will be the batter. And of course, the main concern right now is what is up with Xander Bogaerts. Will he return tonight after scoring that run? That's in there for a strike. Red Sox having lost starter Joe Kelly to the 15-day DL to a shoulder impingement yesterday. And awaiting the return of Eduardo Rodriguez and Carson Smith. Lashed at, fouled away.
One more look at Bogaerts as he goes around the bases, takes a peek on where the hit is, round second base, and it looks like right about there he pulls up just a little bit. And grimacing as he comes to home plate, and I believe it is the quad, Dave. We saw him pointing to that in the dugout.
Shaw 1 for 2 with a single. Sox trying to make it 7-0. I think John is getting some reports. The 1-2. Little floater toward left center toward the alley. Jennings slashing over. He'll make the catch, and Ortiz retreats to second. We did see Masai Takahashi, one of the Red Sox trainers, the assistant athletic trainer, come up and give John some word. And now he chats with Dustin Pedroia.
They're got to be very cautious, obviously, with any type of injury to any player. And if there's any chance that that could worsen as the game goes on, they're going to get him out of there right now. I'll say this, you know, from having both the quad and the hamstring, I'd rather have a quad injury. They heal a little bit quicker than the hamstring.
Here's Brock Holt. He is 0 for 2. You know what would help too? Getting out of 44-degree weather.
It certainly would. You know, you're out there, you're standing around quite a bit, and then you got to things happen quickly for you as you run the bases, and in this cool weather you tighten up.
Well, tomorrow's going to be a very nice day as Ortiz leads from second base. Red Sox are heading for Houston, and that's a dome. And then to Atlanta, where it's been warm. 6-0 Boston. Brock looking to pick up what would be his 9th RBI. High chop. Not going to get him here. Shortstop will not throw, and everyone's going to be safe, and that'll be a base hit on a high chop on the infield.
Well, you got two emotions going on that. One is a hitter, you know you got a base hit. As a pitcher, you know he's got a base hit because there's nothing you can do about it. Absolutely nothing. Just a look to first base by Miller on that, and as soon as that ball bounced in front of home plate, the pitcher, the hitter, they all knew it was going to be a hit. There was no chance to make a play.
Christian Vasquez now. He struck out twice at the hand of Chris Archer, but now he has a new pitcher, a left-hander out there. Two down as Evelyn fires, and it's going to be a strike over the inside corner. David Ortiz, who had doubled in a run, now at third base. Brock Holtz at first base. He runs, and it's going to be a strike and no throw.
Wow, did he have a great jump at first base? He was halfway to second base before that ball was delivered to home plate. Look at that. I mean, there's no chance at all for Conga to even think about throwing that ball. What a jump by Holt. And a very slow delivery by Evelyn.
Sox are now 10 for 11 for the season in thefts. And now base hit would mean 2 and make it 8-0. Christian, growing up in Puerto Rico, admits he wore out the Pudge Rodriguez catching instruction video. He watched it constantly. I think he memorized it. It's a guy who won about 100 Gold Gloves. That's a pretty good guy to memorize. He fouls that one back.
I got to be honest with you. The first time I saw him in spring training, which was 2 springs ago, I looked at him, and the first person I thought about was Pudge Rodriguez. The way he acted behind the plate, the way he moved behind the plate, his extraordinary throwing arm, which of course since has had Tommy John surgery and it's still increasing in strength. But I mean, this guy, you knew right away when you looked at him, here's a catcher.
Yeah, he oozes that. And all the leadership quality. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. That one ate him up. Strike 3, but the Red Sox add another. Now 6-0 after 5. brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Well, as we thought, Xander Bogaerts is going to have to leave this ball game, and we'll get you an update as soon as we can on what is ailing him. We think it may be a quad, but Chris Young goes into the game now to play left field, and Brock Holt will take over at shortstop. And Porcello has been on his A game once again.
Well, we certainly hope it's nothing serious with Bogaerts, just precautionary. I mean, he broke out of a slump tonight. He had been 0 for 14, but 2 for 3 in this game with an RBI, and it's not a guy you want to lose.
Forsythe has struck out twice. He's the top of the order for the Rays. Red Sox head 6-0. They've out hit Tampa Bay 9-2. And Xander right in the thick of it. David Ortiz with a pair of doubles. He's driven in 3 runs. Jackie Bradley has a double. Mookie Betts has been on base 3 times. He's blasted a 2-run homer. Here's the 3-0. He's taking all the way. Porcello has struck out 6 and walked just 1. Trying to come back here against the leadoff man, and it's fouled away. Now 3-2. He's done this a few times tonight where he's gone to 3-0, 3-1. Come back to get the guy.
Yeah, that's a good pitch right there on the 3-1 count. He kept that ball down, a sinker that was down around knee high, something that Forsythe was tempted to swing at and just fouled it off. Good pitch by Porcello.
We do have an update on Xander right away. Pop foul out of play, and I think very good news. That is left quad tightness, and he is day to day.
Yeah, that is good news. I mean, you hate to see any type of injury at all, but the fact is it doesn't seem like a blowout, and that certainly is good news for Bogaerts. And good news for the Red Sox and John Farrell.
We're getting a lot of it so far tonight. On top 6-0. Here's the 3-2. Foul back by Forsythe. With a victory tonight, Rick would improve to 6-4 against Tampa Bay. I mentioned this, the Red Sox are leading all major league staffs with 10.14 strikeouts per 9 innings. They rank 18th in that category last year. To center, Jackie Bradley on his horse to the track, and that one is off the wall, and it ricochets right back to Mookie Betts. Rounding second on his way to third, Forsythe pulls up there with a triple. Hit a long way. That's their best swing of the ball game.
That certainly is. That ball hit very well to center field, and Forsythe with an easy triple here after striking out in his first 2 at bats. Jackie wasn't quite sure whether he could make a play on this or not, so he gets trapped in close to the wall, but it's going to be Mookie Betts coming over from right field to play that carom. And if he was not over there, that would have been an inside the park home run. So Betts doing his job as Bradley got trapped in close to the wall.
And Mookie had a long way to run from right field to the triangle. Here's Morrison. Infield backed up, nobody out. And he looks at a strike.
You know, those little plays right there, and I'm not talking specifically about this situation, but they become very important outfield play in this ballpark because the ball takes all kind of caroms off these crazy configuration at Fenway Park, and you need guys backing up plays. Center fielders backing up left fielders.
Loop foul on a play.
Take one more look, and you watch Betts get on his horse on contact because he knows that ball could go off the wall, and Jackie's going to try to make the play, but Mookie right there to play it off that carom, and he had himself in a perfect spot. If he's not there, it's a run. It's an inside the park home run.
Of course, you say crazy, and the fielders feel that way. The rest of us say charming, because we don't have to play those bounces.
I'm not sure all outfielders, especially visiting outfielders, call it charming.
I think you're right. You're tested here. And if you don't know the ballpark, if you're a rookie, oh, it can embarrass you. Doorways, ladders. Loop foul back out of play. All sorts of different surfaces it can bounce off of. course, the ladder's in play.
It's the ladder to nowhere now. It really is.
Yeah.
You know, they used to use that ladder out there to go up into the net when they had the netting up there to get the balls from batting practice and, of course, after games. That's why the ladder's there. Of course, the net's not there anymore, so I don't know why the ladder's there. Just to keep the ambiance of the ballpark.
Well, that's my understanding, is that when they put up the monster seats, somebody decided to take down the ladder. Waved at and missed, and down goes Morrison. But Larry Lucchino was the guy who stepped forward and said, wait a minute. That's part of the ambiance. That's part of the charm of Fenway Park. It's been here forever. Put it back. Keep it there. And it's been there ever since.
Yeah, it's very strange because, like I said, it's the stairway to heaven. I mean, it's really not going anywhere right now. Nobody comes down or goes up the ladder, but it's still there for a ball to hit and carry them off and be an unusual play.
Good Led Zeppelin reference out of you.
Yeah, thank you. I knew you'd like that.
Is Longoria. By the way, speaking of Larry Lucchino, today he was named the chairman of the Jimmy Fund. So congratulations to Larry Lucchino, Red Sox Hall of Famer, going in this year. Done so much for this organization. Outside for a ball. Longoria is lined out and grounded back to the pitcher. And the 1-0 home. Hit sharply. Runner will score as Shaw guns to first base. And in to touch home is Forsythe with their first run of the ball game. Tonight, after Red Sox coverage on NESN Sports Today, we have a full report from the Bruins end of season press conference. Plus, hear from Celtics head coach Brad Stevens. NESN Sports Today presented by People's United Bank. See what know-how can do. Boy, it can be tough being a sports fan in Boston when a couple of the teams aren't winning. And, you know, the Bruins going through it. They went through missing the playoffs, and Celtics are down 0-2. And Red Sox at the moment 1 game under 500. I mean, I grew up with it. You grew up with it. They could be rough.
Well, it's day to day around here. It's actually pitch to pitch in baseball. There's no question about that. But, folks, it's very early.
And we love our teams and are invested in them. I think it's the best city in America to be a sports fan in. Dickerson has doubled and flied out. Red Sox ahead here tonight 6-0 in the 6th inning. Porcello's allowed only 3 hits. Longoria just picked up his 7th RBI of the season, and a wave and a miss.
Good changeup, but there's been some very good changeups from Porcello in this game tonight. Throwing the changeup here in the 1-0 count, and certainly had Dickerson way off balance on that swing. He was not expecting that pitch at all. Sitting dead red.
6-1, Tampa Bay getting on the board here. And the 1-1 will drift outside.
You know, this really has been fun to watch between Vasquez and Porcello, because when you see Vasquez set up, very few times tonight has Porcello missed his target.
I gave up a leadoff triple, and they eventually get that run in, but now the base is empty. And a high fly that's driven deep to right field. That's going to carry way back there, and it clears the bullpen to make it 6-2. Dickerson with a long home run out of here. That one was tagged.
Yeah, just as we talk about hitting his target, a cut fastball that ends up right down the middle of the plate. And Dickerson picking up his 2nd hit of the night, a double, now the home run. There's the little cutter right there, and didn't get the action on it that he wanted. And that's one, you know, right at contact that you ask the umpire for a new baseball.
Here's Jennings. He has struck out and taken ball 4 tonight. So now the Red Sox lead has been cut to 4. Jennings has hit 1 home run this season. And now Vasquez wants a mound visit as Rick Porcello's fallen behind 2-0. Saturday morning at 9 on Dining Playbook, Billy and Jenny visit some local restaurants that have been nominated for the James Beard Award. See which Boston eateries are being acknowledged for their excellent cuisine. Dining Playbook on NESN, driven by your New England Chevy dealers. To the third baseman Shaw as he'll gather that and gun on. And that retires the side, but Tampa Bay on the board twice now, 6-2 Red Sox. In the middle game of the series, and David Price to pitch tomorrow afternoon in the finale in the last game of this homestand. Jackie Bradley has doubled and walked tonight. Oh, and it hits him, and Jackie will take his base.
Looks like Bradley might have got hit in that padding that he has on his right arm. Let's take a look. Yeah, I believe it did, and that kind of softens the blow a little bit. Bradley makes his way down to first base, and looks like Kevin Cash coming out to make a pitching change.
So they'll be bringing on a right-hander to take on Mookie Betts. That'll be Webb. And so we have a pitching change here in the 6th inning with the Red Sox leading by 4. And we'll have more in a moment. Leading 6-2. Time now for our tools of the trade presented by Stanley.
Now Mookie Betts coming up big twice in this ball game tonight. First of all, with a home run on a fastball that's going to be middle in right there, just about belt high. Betts with a line drive home run. Then a fine defensive play in the outfield. Watch him spin the wrong way, then spin around again and make that catch going away. Very athletic play out there in right field by Mookie Betts.
Stanley is the official tool of the Boston Red Sox. Nobody out. Mookie to climb in here against Ryan Webb, who last season was with 3 different organizations, but most of the time he spent in the majors with Cleveland, where he made 40 appearances.
4th appearance this season. Certainly a ground ball type pitcher.
Jackie got hit by a pitch. Let's see if he looks to run. Oh, he's going to be picked off. Picked off. He was leaning and lost his balance and cut down. Well, that's exactly what he had in mind.
Yeah, he was running. There's no doubt about that. Watch him take that step towards second base, and that's a helpless feeling for a base runner. But you know, if you are a base stealer, those things are going to happen. You're going to get picked off, and nobody's going to say much about it.
So now the base is empty for Mookie, who has walked, belted a 2-run homer, walked again. He had walked just once all season until tonight. He appears to be out of his slump, which is a great sign. 6-2, Sox in command here in the last half of the 6th inning. And once again getting very, very good starting pitching from Rick Porcello. And the ace, Mr. Price, will go tomorrow. Jake Odorizzi will be his opponent. He's a right-hander.
You know, getting back to that pickoff of Bradley at first base, it only becomes a mistake if it's the hit and run play, because you don't want to be going early on a hit and run. You just make sure the pitcher delivers home and then you go. If you're stealing a base, you know, those things are going to happen. You're going to be leaning, and that's exactly what Bradley was doing on that play. I don't think a hit and run play was on.
And skips on by Conger.
One more look, and you can see Jackie clearly wanting to go to second base, and then got all tangled up. He had no chance to get back to the bag.
You talked about the helpless feeling of a chopper that a pitcher gives up, goes over his head. He's just got to wait all night for it to come down. Bounding ball and a base hit, and Mookie Betts is on for the 4th time in this game. That's his 2nd hit. The local Dunkin' Donuts franchises are proud to give back to the communities in which they live and work, and thousands of kids have had the chance to catch a free Sox game thanks to Dunkin' Donuts. Tonight we welcome the Rosendale Community Center to historic Fenway Park. Dunkin' Donuts committed to the community.
Let's see now if Mookie Betts tries a steal in this particular at bat by Pedroia, because you're working with a sinker ball pitcher. You don't want a double play to end the inning.
Petey 1 for 3, a single and a run. He's hitting .278.
Starts Pedroia off with a breaking ball.
Webb with an 0-1. Line foul out of play.
I will say this. It's very difficult to get a jump on Webb because he's almost got no leg kick at all. It's almost not quite a slide step, but he doesn't pick that leg up very high, so it's a pretty quick move to the plate.
Young on deck, hitting in Xander Bogaerts' spot. Xander had to leave as it's fouled away with a left quad situation. He had a tight quad.
See, now that time it was a little different look. We look back in the 5th inning, Xander Bogaerts coming around third base and apparently hurting something in his quad. He grimaces as he comes all the way home, and you can see him pointing to that left leg.
Listed day to day. We take that as a good sign. Mookie with a pretty good lead over there.
I was going to say last time Webb gave him a different look. He did kick the leg up higher, so he's doing everything he possibly can to keep Betts at first base by giving him different looks to home plate. A very low kick. That time it was a little bit high. I'll see what he does this time.
Diving back in safely. We mentioned that Dustin Pedroia's 10-game hitting streak ended last night. So did his 48-game on-base streak against the American League East. He has started a new one tonight. The runner goes, and the pitch is going to go all the way to the backstop. Mookie takes a big turn, but it rebounded back to Conger, so give him a stolen base because he was running.
And he got a terrific jump. He picked the right move. Watch the leg kick. It becomes very high, and that's the one you want as a base stealer. Betts taking a peek back, and because the ball was going by the catcher, he was thinking about third base. But he tried to mix up that leg kick, and Betts guessed right that time. He gave him the higher leg kick, and it was no contest. Well, no contest because the ball got by the catcher.
So a base hit by Pedroia would make it 7-2 and put the Sox in front by 5 again. Check swing, and it was inside, and that one got the catcher Conger, and seemed to be indicating it got him pretty good.
And he's got clipped a couple of times tonight behind home plate. This ball deflecting off the bat right there of Pedroia and got him right in the neck.
Well, did you know that NESN is on Instagram? Be sure to follow us to geek up with all the things Red Sox this season. Visit Instagram.com/NESN and follow right now. So 1-2 on Dustin Pedroia. Red Sox knocking Chris Archer out of the game in 4 1/3 innings. And if he loses, right now he is the pitcher of record for them. He would fall to 0-4 on the season. Waved at and missed, and down goes Pedroia. So 2 away.
Yeah, you go back to that Betts steal for a second after we look at the strikeout first of all by Pedroia. But here's the strikeout as you see, and it's going to go right to the outside part of the plate. Dustin just trying to be a defensive swing, but here's the pitch that he steals on. You notice it's the high leg kick plus the breaking ball. So if Mookie peeks in and he sees breaking ball, that's when he's going to take off, and he goes. There's no play on him anyway because the ball got by, but all those combination of things work together to get a stolen base.
So a chance for Chris Young, who's off to a rough start, hitting 118. Into the dirt. There goes the runner. Conger will have no throw. Mookie Betts into third base on a wild pitch.
Yeah, always better to be at third base with 2 outs at Fenway because there's no guarantee on a ball to left field you're going to score on a base hit because it's so shallow out there. So if you can get to third base with 2 outs, you get there.
Mookie Betts with a single, a stolen base, and now a wild pitch. He's 90 feet from the plate. Young without an RBI this season. Another one into the dirt, but no advance by Mookie. Six runs on 10 hits for Boston, 2 runs, 4 hits for Tampa Bay. This crowd would like another run. And a shot, and they're going to get it. Here comes Mookie Betts on the base hit, and that'll make it 7-2. Young picks up his first RBI, and that's a little more like it for him.
Yes, it is. And when you're facing a guy that throws a sinker ball like Webb does, you say get the ball up in the zone, and that's exactly where that is. That's a high pitch for a sinker ball pitcher. And a hard line drive to left field by Young. Betts comes in to score with no problem. Red Sox get one of those 2 back.
That's got to feel great for Chris Young. Here's David Ortiz. Poppy's feeling pretty good himself tonight with 3 RBIs and 2 doubles. The shift on for Big Poppy, and he grounds into it. Forsythe, the pitcher, gets to the bag for the out, and that retires the side. The Red Sox with another run to the 7th, 7-2 Boston. Top of the 7th, Red Sox head 7-2 over Tampa Bay. Rick Porcello's pitching line is brought to you by Ace Ticket and Remdog. Another strong effort to this point.
It really is, and it's just what the doctor ordered for the Red Sox pitching staff.
Brad Miller takes one up high, ball 1. A strikeout, a liner to right. He's 0 for 2. Last inning, Porcello gave up a triple and a run and a home run, so they finally cracked the scoring column. But the Red Sox got 3 in the first inning, which was wonderful to see. 2 more in the second, and made it 6-0 in the 5th inning with another run. Check swing outside. So Porcello pitching deep into the game, 7th inning. He has not gotten to 100 pitches yet. There's no activity in the Sox bullpen, and a routine ground ball right to Pedroia. 1 man out. Get expert emergency care without leaving the ballpark at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center, the first aid station that is located behind section 12 on the lower concourse. Visit bidmc.org. That'll send up Souza. He's singled and grounded out to short. Red Sox are headed for Houston after the day game tomorrow. They hope on a 2-game winning streak. And to Atlanta after that. Farquhar getting ready in the bullpen. Braves are off to a 4-9 start, and they've had to win 4 in a row to get there.
Nice to get on a little roll for the Red Sox. If somehow they could take 2 out of 3 in this series, get on that road trip to Houston and Atlanta. Atlanta struggling, as you mentioned, and things could fall into place with some positive news for about a week's period of time.
Yeah, look at the schedule here. And the upcoming games. And in the month of May, the Red Sox will be in Chicago, New York, play a road series in Kansas City against the World Series champs. Home for a good long stretch against Oakland and Houston early in the month. And we're hoping when we come back home, it'll have warmed up by about 15 degrees. Hoping. Cut on and missed, and down goes Souza. 2 away. Time now for a poll question presented by People's United Bank. Jerry, let's see what topics people can vote on to hear what you'll talk about tonight on NESN Sports Today.
Yeah, the Bogaerts injury, Porcello's start, or Betts snaps his slump. And, well, so far, Porcello's start, that's 1 vote in 1 precinct.
But it's early.
Very early in the voting.
Text your answer to 536-536. Message and data rates may apply. Did he check his swing? He did. So it's ball 1 on Kiermaier, who is 0 for 2. Red Sox leading 7-2. Shot into left center. Jackie Bradley back, turning now. It's off the 10. Racing for second, Kiermaier. The throw won't get him as he pops up with a double. So that is the 3rd extra base hit in the last 2 innings for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, Kiermaier's had a nice series. Had that home run last night, obviously, and takes this ball off the wall. It's a, not a bad pitch. It's away. It's a little bit off the outside edge, but some very good hitting by Kiermaier, taking it off that 10 in the left field area.
Now, nobody throwing yet in the Sox pen. And it'll bring up Hank Conger, who has popped up and struck out 0 for 2. Switch hitting catcher acquired from Houston in December. He lines a bullet off a bounce. Betts will pick it, but here comes the run. That'll be their 3rd run in the last 2 innings, and that'll make it 7-3. And that should get the bullpen going.
Well, John Farrell hoping that Porcello can get him through the 7 innings here. And then Jeff's have to deal with the 8th and 9th inning, but Tazawa now just barely getting ready to make his first warm-up throw, and that's why you're going to see Willis come out to the mound right now and take that 30 seconds that's allowed him and take every bit of it so they can get Tazawa loose.
Make sure you always know when the game is on. Download the Sox schedule directly into your favorite calendar program. Just visit NESN.com/schedule and download today. So in the last 2 innings for Tampa Bay, some good swings, a triple, a homer, a double, and now a well-struck single for an RBI. And that'll bring up Logan Forsythe, the man who tripled in the 6th. And came in to score their first run. He takes a strike. Well, Porcello trying to give the Red Sox and John Farrell exactly what they wanted tonight. A strong 7 innings or more. Looks like 7 will be it. But he still has to get that 3rd out. Red Sox leading 7-3. And the 1-1. That's inside.
Tries the changeup that time, and it stays inside. Porcello getting fatigued out there now. 109 pitches on the night.
The 2-1 and a high fly ball into right field, but room for Mookie, still backing up. He's there and he makes the catch to retire the side. Looks like that'll be it for Rick Porcello. 7-3, Red Sox in front. Baseball on NESN is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By the great folks at Sullivan Tire and Auto Service. And by Digital Federal Credit Union. See what DCU can save you. 7-3 Red Sox in the lead here in the 7th inning. Handshakes and a lot of slaps on the back for Rick Porcello.
Now 9 strikeouts tonight for Porcello. We'll look at the last of 4. Fastball inside to Kiermaier. Then he goes to changeups. Gets Congner on a changeup. Another changeup right there. And then back to the fastball for the strikeouts against Souza. So very, very impressive performance tonight.
There's a bullet. Stoked to left and reaching up to grab it as Jennings on the warning track as Hanley Ramirez hit a shot.
Now you can't hit the ball much harder than what Hanley just hit it, and you can see it first at the heel of the glove of Jennings, then kind of bounce up into the web. Goes back to the warning track, and it was kind of a 2 catches out there. One in the pocket of the glove, and the second one ended up in the web of the glove.
Former standout wide receiver in high school in Alabama. That's in there for a called strike. And Farquhar out of the bullpen. Last year with Seattle. Last 3 years with Seattle. Had a rough year last year, 1-8 with a 5.12 ERA. They've had to go to the bullpen here tonight. And they went early because Chris Archer did not get the second out in the 5th inning. There's a shot toward the alley, dropping and in. That drops down for a base hit. That'll be the second one of the ball game for Travis Shaw. He is now 2 for 4. Time now for a game break, brought to you by Jordan's, the furniture store, the Boston Red Sox. Here's TC. More Emmy-nominated work by Tom Caron.
When does he get that Emmy anyway? Is that soon, isn't it?
Might as well just give it to him now.
Yeah, why wait till he that way he doesn't have to go to the dinner. I mean, just give it to him now.
You know, UPS will show up, knock on the door and say, TC,
yeah, here's your Emmy.
Here's your Emmy. Brock Holt 1 for 3. That one ran in on the thumbs, and it's 1-1. Sox have doubled up Tampa Bay in the hit column, 12-6. Travis Shaw on at first base. The Red Sox have swung the bats as they are capable tonight. And foul tipped into the mitt. Tazawa is still throwing in the bullpen, so he'll be on next, on in relief of Rick Porcello, who is very good again. We talked about it before the game. Everybody did. The need for Rick to go deep in the game after what happened yesterday with Kelly pitching only 2/3 of an inning. That's exactly what he did.
Yeah, and the thing that impressed me, Dave, about Porcello tonight, you know, when you watch Vasquez set up, there were very, very few times that he missed his spot.
Fly to center field. Kiermaier has to race back, and oh, he held on. And a long throw back to first base will not double up Travis Shaw, but boy, he can go and get him.
Yeah, and that's a tough play for a center field. A very tough play on the ball that's directly over your head, because you have a hard time judging, you know, just how hard that ball's hit. Couple of steps to his left and directly back. I mean, that's why the guy won a Gold Glove. He can really play some serious center field. Such a good jump on the ball.
And the presence of mind to get down and come up gunning. Didn't really have much of a shot at Travis, but that's a heck of a play. Here's Christian Vasquez looking to make contact. He's had a tough night at the plate, 0 for 3, and he takes strike 1. He has struck out 3 times. Sox up by 4 runs as we get into the late stages. 0-2. Stay tuned for Red Sox Final, presented by Plainridge Park Casino. TC and Steve Lyons have the highlights And they preview David Price's start tomorrow against the Rays. 0-2 swung on and missed. He whiffs for the 4th time in this one. One man is left, and it's 7-3 Red Sox. Taz coming on. By Xfinity, Red Sox leading 7-3 as we go to the 8th inning. Archer was gone quick. That's been a trend against the Red Sox. 4 1/3, 8 hits, 6 earned runs. Porcello was in the game a long time. 7 innings, 9 strikeouts for the right-hander. Been a good night for Mookie Betts and David Ortiz and the Red Sox offense as a whole. We've got a new pitcher on. That'll be Junichi Tazawa out of the bullpen. His stats brought to you by McDonald's. I'm loving it. They've been very good statistics through 8 games, a 1.50 ERA. Jerry has 9 strikeouts in 6 innings.
Yeah, Tazawa, you know, we've watched him pitch. A lot of times he's starting guys off with breaking balls. He's going to that split-fingered fastball when he gets ahead, and it's been very good for him so far this season. We'll see how he starts off the first hitter here in Morrison.
See if he starts him off with a curveball.
That's what he's been doing.
That brings up the other question. He's been doing it quite regularly. And will the hitter know?
And they may switch up. Let's see what Vasquez puts down. Curveball.
Morrison's 0 for 3. And that'll be ball 1. He did start him off with the curve. Morrison really off to a dreadful start. He has 2 hits in 40 at bats, and he has struck out 17 times. It's a very similar start to Russell Martin, which unfortunately didn't stay a terrible start forever because they had a big 2-run single the other day in the Red Sox series. Toronto and Baltimore playing tonight as Geltz gets going in their bullpen. The 2-0. 3-0. Longoria next. Tazawa trying to make it all the way back here, and he walked him. That's how the 8th inning gets started. Well, tomorrow at 1, don't miss Red Sox Game Day Live, presented by DCU. TC and Jim Rice will recap the Red Sox first homestand, which ends tomorrow. DCU Digital Federal Credit Union. What can DCU save you? Longoria has a Cape Cod connection. He played for Chatham in the Cape League in 2006. He was the MVP of the league, hitting 8 home runs, and he said it was the first time he ever used a wood bat. Used it pretty well. He takes ball 1.
Right now, Tazawa having a tough time finding that strike zone. The walk to lead off the inning, falling behind Longoria. 1 ball and no strikes. Take a walk behind the mound, try to gather himself and get a strike.
Longoria hitless tonight. He does have a 15-game Fenway Park hitting streak. Popped him up. For Hanley, it's playable. Back into fair ground to make the play. That one came back. I think wind aided.
You know, I often get criticized here for talking about the wind so much at Fenway, but in my opinion, Dave, the wind plays an effect in this ballpark more than any other ballpark in the big leagues. It's because it's so low. You know, the stands are not very high here, so once the ball gets up above the stands, the wind takes over. Right now, the wind's blowing straight out towards center field, and you could see that ball come back in to the field to play. I mean, it's not easy playing in this ballpark because it's not that high.
It was up there a long time, too. 1 down. Dickerson next. He's doubled and ripped a home run. He's been trouble tonight. Red Sox 7, Tampa Bay 3. We're in the 8th inning. Sox trying to snap a 3-game skid. Flared foul out of play.
You know, add to that, I don't think, and I may be wrong, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's a ballpark in the big leagues that the wind plays an effect more than here at Fenway Park. I really don't.
The possibility it could be Wrigley Field.
Wrigley Field, that's an excellent point right there. Because here you have the breeze that blows in from the sea. You've got the wind that blows out towards center field. You've got the cross breeze. I mean, it's always changing here. And the stands are so low, it has an effect on the baseball.
I think this is a close second. Snap toss on that back pick play, but he didn't get him. In the old days when the Giants played at Candlestick.
Oh, that was horrible.
It was terrible. You could set your watch to it. You know, bottom of the 4th inning, here would come the fog rolling in off the bay, and with it, the winds, and you had wrappers and scorecards flying everywhere.
I'll tell you, I admire guys that had to play 81 home games in that ballpark. That was terrible.
Awful. Oh, and by the way, the temperature would drop about 20 degrees. The new place, not nearly like that in San Francisco. It's a beautiful ballpark. Flying into center field. Jackie has some room, though, back into that triangle. They'll run it down. And Morrison back to first base. NESN is looking for youth baseball and softball teams to be a live studio audience for NESN Clubhouse this season. Visit NESNClubhouse.com and click on studio audience to enter your son or daughter's team today.
You know, Gary Streisky earlier in the ballgame was talking about Vasquez, how he likes high pitches when he tries pickoff attempts. Well, we saw that 2 pitches ago. And it was a great point that Gary brought up earlier in the ballgame. Now watch the location of the pitch. It's up high, throws behind the hitter. I mean, that's almost like a pitch out, and that's exactly what the striker was talking about. You see Vasquez go up, those are the ones he likes to throw.
Here's Jennings as he punches a foul into the stands. Red Sox up 7-3. They have 12 hits to Tampa Bay's 6. Rick Porcello went 7. He struck out 9. He walked only 1 batter. Here's the 0-1 to Jennings. Trickle foul. He has struck out, grounded out, and walked in this one. It would be big indeed if the Red Sox win this one and then get to hand the ball to Mr. Price tomorrow. and head onto the road with a couple of victories back to back. And heading off to Houston and Atlanta. And in good shape to get half of that done. High pop up into left center. Brock Holt backing out, coming on Young, and Young will grip it for the out. One man left to go to the bottom of the 8th. 7-3 Red Sox. Red Sox tomorrow's starting pitchers. Jake Odorizzi will go for Tampa Bay against the ace, who is 2-0 this season and 7-1 lifetime at Fenway. This closer look brought to you by FW Web. Selection, expertise, solutions, more at fwweb.com. Bottom of the 8th inning at Fenway. Red Sox with a 7-3 advantage on Tampa Bay. Steve Geltz comes out of their bullpen. He's allowed homers in consecutive appearances for the first time in his career. Right-hander to take on Jackie Bradley, who has not been retired while in the batter's box tonight. He was caught stealing officially in the 6th inning. He was picked off first base, but he has doubled, walked, and been hit by a pitch. They stack a 3-man shift on the right side of the diamond. He indicates bunt, pops it foul, and no play for Conger.
It's amazing how many times we see that, you know, when they're in that shift and the hitter tries to bunt a ball down that third base line. It's almost like there's too much room down there and they can't seem to get it down. I mean, look at all that green. Looks like a pool table, and just cannot get it down on that grass. You could walk to first base if you could do it.
I'm guessing you never saw a shift quite like this.
No, they'd shift the other way on me.
And playing you to bunt, as you were such a terrific bunter.
I'll tell you what Don Zimmer did to me one time. He was managing the Texas Rangers. He was my former manager, of course, with the Red Sox, and he knew I could drag bunt. So what he used to do when I played against him, he would bring the second baseman in with nobody on base, with the infield in to take away the bunt. He tried to take away the bunt for me.
Wow.
And it was amazing when I looked out there.
You don't see that every day. Little looper, pop foul. Never got very high off the ground, but it drops foul.
I remember sneaking one by the second baseman when he was in. Weakly hit ground ball, but went for a base hit because he was in. And I kind of peeked in the dugout at Zim, and I gave him one of those, you know.
What was his response?
I can't show you his response.
Maybe not everything.
Yeah.
It's a family show. 0-2 is up and away. There's a guy that I miss all the time.
Oh yeah,
Don Zimmer. What a great face.
Great to be around.
Face of baseball. Line shot pulled into that shift, and Forsythe has that for the out. So one man gone. The 2016 CVS Health Charity Classic features more than the nation's top golfers. Don't miss the Charity Classic benefit concert featuring Grammy award-winning Lady Antebellum. That's June 28th at the Dunkin' Donuts Center in Providence. Get your tickets, Ticketmaster.com/Charity Classic Fenway. Great night for Mookie Betts. He's made a nice play in right field. He's also homered, singled, and walked twice, and he has scored 3 times and stolen a base. I think safe to say he is out of his little skid with tonight's performance. Red Sox leading 7-3. Noe Ramirez, just promoted back to the major league team, begins to loosen. So it appears he'll be coming on for the 9th inning.
And that really would be the ideal situation if Noe Ramirez could come in and shut them down, and the Red Sox able to pick up this win, because it would give Koji and Kimbrel another night off, and I think that would be huge for the Red Sox heading into the final game of this series. The advantage of having the 4-run lead right now.
A strike right at the hollow of the knee, according to Toby Basner.
Looked like a good pitch right down at the bottom of the strike zone, about knee high and center of the plate.
Has a high pop-up foul. That'll reach the stands. Hey, be sure to subscribe to NESN's YouTube page to stay up to date on the latest sports news and exclusive interviews. Visit youtube.com/NESN now. Love the smiles after foul ball. Priceless. Fly to left center field, pretty well hit, but Kiermaier's there. And 2 down for the Sox here in the bottom of the 8th inning, with Dustin Pedroia on the way up looking for his 2nd hit. Mookie Betts has 2. Xander Bogaerts had 2 before stepping out of the ball game with a quad situation. David Ortiz with a pair of doubles and 3 RBIs. A lot of good swings tonight for the Sox. A lot of them came early with a 5-0 lead after 2 against Archer. Fouled. Oh, that one drilled Conger. He had his bell rung. He's had a tough night back there.
He really has. He's got beat up behind the plate. Foul ball right square in the middle of the mask and just jars his whole head back.
That is a tough way to make a living.
Is there any day during the season where a catcher feels good? I don't think so.
And for like 4 minutes on opening day before you get behind there, got to be it. They take so many knocks. 1 ball and 1 strike. And they have to keep on playing through it. Two down, bases empty. Red Sox with a 4-run lead in the 8th. 1-2 on Petey. Chris Young would be next. Again, Xander Bogaerts had to leave after running the bases in the mid portion of the game with a left quad tightness situation. He's day to day. We think that's a positive sign for Xander. Pop foul back, and he hangs in. A win would put the Red Sox at 7-7. And David Price going tomorrow afternoon, 1:35. We're anticipating sunshine and 70. 1-2 pitch. Bounced up there. What a turnaround tonight for the Sox. After being 1 hit last night in 10 innings of baseball, they have 12 hits tonight.
Yeah, the big thing too to me, OB, is they come out and they get 5 in the first 2, and that kind of settles things down a little bit, gives the confidence some offense, gives the pitchers some confidence that he's got some runs up there.
Yeah, Red Sox Nation kind of went, oh yeah, that felt better. And a reminder that this lineup should be able to score a lot of runs. Line foul, and did it against a very good pitcher again. Now, what are you thinking if you're Chris Archer? Like, boy, I can beat just about everybody else, but I can't beat the Red Sox.
Yeah, but he didn't have his crisp stuff tonight, like we normally see. Even in times where the Red Sox have beat him, his stuff has been better than I thought it was tonight. He didn't have that real control, that breaking ball, that nasty slider that he has.
Because he has a great slider.
He really does. And I think he's just in a funk right now that he's trying to work his way out of. But to Red Sox credit, they jumped on it.
Now, going back to last year, if he takes the loss tonight, he's on the hook for it right now. He's going to be 0-7 going back to last year in his last 7 decisions. Punched on the ground, Miller ranging in. And in time, and the Red Sox go in order. We go to the 9th. Red Sox leading 7-3. Don't miss Red Sox first pitch, presented by Joseph Abboud, available at Men's Warehouse. TC and Jim Rice, who always look like $1 million. They'll highlight some of David Price's career highlights as a member of the Rays as he prepares to face his former team. Hey, this is a really good sign. Xander is out and inside the dugout, and apparently in a great frame of mind. He was doing a lot of laughing and joking with his teammates.
Yeah, he probably got some treatment inside the Red Sox clubhouse and felt okay to get back out in the dugout and cheer on his club for this last inning.
And Noe Ramirez is on to finish this one up. Recalled today from the Paw Sox, his second major league stint. Option, of course, on Monday following Patriots Day against Toronto. So a quick turnaround for Noe. And he'll take on Brad Miller as we go to the 9th inning. Red Sox ahead 7-3, and that one's knocked foul for strike 1. Red Sox got an excellent start out of Rick Porcello yet again. He's on the verge of being 3-0. 7 innings, 6 hits, 9 strikeouts, and 1 walk for Rick. Those 9 strikeouts are becoming commonplace, you know,
yes,
for the Red Sox starter.
You know, we talk about Rick and, you know, the sinker ball getting ground ball outs, but I mean, he's piling up the strikeouts.
And the Red Sox continue to get fine starting performances. A big wave and a miss. Porcello's had a couple now. Clay Buchholz had a dandy. David Price, of course, is 2-0. So the starting rotation has righted the ship. Off the end of the bat, foul. And tonight, you're seeing offense and pitching coming together. And that's been the rub about the Red Sox. Of course, Stephen Wright's been very good.
Well, you and I were talking about it prior to going on air tonight about this club and the fact that, you know, all the pieces are there. I mean, the pitching is there, the bullpen's there, the offense is there, the defense is there. It's just, when is it going to click together?
Miller down on strikes. Vasquez will complete it with the toss. 1 man gone. Tonight the night where it has come together. Do you have a son or daughter that wants to learn more about baseball or the Red Sox? Well, visit NESNClubhouse.com. Videos, games, a lot there. It's fun, free, and easy to use. Visit NESNClubhouse.com today.
Well, they know they're on TV right now.
It's exactly how you and I behave when we're on TV.
I have.
Souza loops a foul. He's 1 for 3. Just 6 hits tonight for the Rays. So the Red Sox are 2 outs away from getting back to 500. A win would make the Sox 7-7. There's a good breaking ball.
Yeah, very good slider that time by Noe Ramirez. It looked like it was going to go directly at Souza Jr. and then just a big sweep on it. Look at that frame job by Vasquez behind the plate.
Ground ball right to Brock Holt. He gathers and gets him. And it's out number 2.
Yeah, we talked earlier in the game and watched the very nice movements behind the plate by Vasquez. And here he gets that glove in a position right on the corner, keeps it on the corner. Very nicely done by Vasquez.
He's catching it so that the umpire doesn't get a view of the baseball. So even if it's off the corner a little bit, he's going to say it's on the corner.
It's like a ballet. It really is. It's like watching a ballet.
Now it's Kiermaier, who is 1 for 3 with a double. 2 down, 9th inning, and there's a base hit slapped to right. So he's on for the 2nd time, and it's not over yet. And Conger, the number 9 batter, will climb in. That is their 7th hit. Red Sox 1 out away from a victory. Rick Porcello would improve to 3-0 on the season. Now Ramirez has thrown strikes since coming on. 9 pitches, 8 strikes. There's another one. Do hope you will join us tomorrow at 1:35. David Price against Jake Odorizzi here on NESN. It'll be a beautiful day. And the last game of the homestand. There goes the runner. And that's around the outside. They will not throw down. And that is not a stolen base.
No defensive indifference. In other words, we don't care if you take second base. Your run means nothing.
It's a lonely feeling. One ball, 1 strike, 2 down. Noe trying to end it on Hank Conger. 2-1. Well, I give the fans tonight who came to the ballpark a lot of credit. It was like 44 degrees when this game started. But we had a very nice crowd at the time of the first pitch, and these fans have really hung in despite the chill. Obviously, a lot of folks have gone home, but getting a look at the Red Sox on this long homestand. 10-gamer. 2-2.
So far, everything away from Conger, and this at bat. That fastball really sailed away from Conger.
Fenway tonight celebrating its 104th birthday. It started with a victory. And on the anniversary, little looper foul, looking for another win. Red Sox ahead 7-3 in the ninth. The runner will take off for third. The Red Sox could care less. The 2-2 home. Swung on and missed, and that'll do it. And on the anniversary, the Red Sox again are in the win column. 7-3 the final tonight as they snap a 3-game losing skid and are back to 500. TC, that's how that is done. Some offense early and some outstanding pitching.